What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another bowl game preview prediction. The final one I'm going to be uploading today. It's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl from Memphis, Tennessee, and we got the hometown team, the Memphis Tigers, rolling into the postseason to play a little bit of a surprise team this year in the Iowa State Cyclones. It's the Tigers and Cyclones from Memphis, Tennessee, from the Liberty Bowl. We'll be talking about everything to do with this game here in just a little bit. But before we do, hey, first off, happy holidays to everyone out there. Christmas has already passed for me. I hope you had a really, really good holiday season if you celebrate Christmas. But if you celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or again, celebrate Christmas and have continued to enjoy holiday festivities, I hope you guys are all having a great holiday season. Thank you for making me a part of it. But also thank you for all the love and support the channel has seen, and any way you interact with the channel, you help show your support for what I do here on YouTube. So whether that's liking, commenting, sharing, doing what you're doing now and watching the video, or doing the big thing and subscribing and ringing the bell, you guys have shown your support for the channel all throughout this college football season, and it's meant really so much to me. So I thank you guys so much. Let's go ahead and dive on into this game here between the Memphis Tigers and the Iowa State Cyclones. And I will put up a little, not necessarily disclaimer, but sometimes it can be a little tricky to determine, okay, who's opting out, who's under the transfer portal, things like that. So Tiger fans, Cyclone fans, if there's a name that I mentioned that ends up not playing, or a name I didn't mention that's opted out, things like that, you can leave it in the comment section down below and just tell me your thoughts here on this game. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts, but you've seen the stats on screen for a little bit now. Let's dive on into the stats for the designated road team, which is weird because they're basically playing a home game here in the city in which they play their home games, right? Memphis, they're playing in Memphis. I'm sure you guys got that connection already. But Seth Hennigan, that quarterback here for Memphis, will be playing in this game, as is to my knowledge. Now, he will be without a couple of offensive linemen, Davion Carter and Michaelan Pounders. That's a right guard and left tackle have entered the transfer portal. But as long as Seth Hennigan and these weapons are here, this is one of the most explosive offenses in the entire country. 3,519 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 9 picks for Seth Hennigan on 66% completion percentage. Blake Watson, that running back, is a 1,000-yard rusher who has 1,045 yards and 14 touchdowns. He'll be playing in this game as well. And then a slew of really, really good wide receiving weapons. But the two most notable are obviously going to be Rock Taylor, 981 yards and 4 touchdowns, and Demir Blankumsey, 825 yards and 6 touchdowns for him. Blake Watson's a pretty good receiver out of the backfield there as well. And then how about this for a storyline? Joseph Skates, a former Iowa State transfer, will be playing his former team. He has 30 catches for 339 yards and actually second on the team there with 5 receiving touchdowns. It doesn't matter who is out there, though. Again, those are some of the really good weapons that this team in Memphis possesses. But as long as Hennigan is that quarterback, I mean, this is a very dynamic team. And again, without those two pieces on the offensive line, maybe Iowa State's going to be able to generate a little bit more pressure. And Memphis, at times, especially in some of their losses, have been turnover prone. Now, if this is the game where Seth Hennigan's going to be making mistakes, you have a problem. And I'll talk about why here in a second. But Memphis is also really good here on third downs, and they have the ability to hit the big play really whenever they feel like it. Let's move on over to this Memphis defense, which, to say the least, has really struggled so far this season. The pass rush is pretty good, but it's not always there, right? Only 21 sacks this year compared to some of the other teams we've seen. That's 1.75 sacks there per game. The rush defense at times really struggles. The pass defense at times really struggles. Now, again, both of them have had a lot of really good moments. There have been games where Memphis has been able to shut down whatever their opponent's able to do on the ground. And there have been times where Memphis is coming away with interception after interception, after pick, after pick, after tackle for loss, after tackle for loss. So it really depends on if this Memphis defense can turn it on. And while they struggle in most areas, there are 2 aspects where I really like this Memphis defense. One is their ability to force takeaways, and not just like, oh, there's 3 minutes left, you're up by 30, hey, there's a pick. No, they can force takeaways in a very, very timely manner to help this explosive offense get some more points up on the board to even cushion a lead in a big game, or to help this offense come back. And they are really, really good at third downs, which is going to be problematic here for this Iowa State offense, where explosiveness is anything but the name of the game here for this team. Now, Rocco Becht was, I believe, Big 12 Offensive Freshman of the Year, and he really played like it. I mean, this is a surprise that Iowa State, maybe not that they're in postseason, but I think had as successful of a season as they did. Rocco Becht was a huge reason why. 2,674 yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 picks, a long of 82, 8.1 yards per completion with 63.5% completion percentage. Now, this is a rushing attack that is going to see 2 running backs enter the transfer portal. That is Eli Sanders and Cartavius Norton. However, you really don't need either two of those guys. And again, I'll talk more about this later, but Abu Sama has really stepped up for this Iowa State team, and he is explosive on the ground. Sanders, Norton, neither of those guys had a 50-yard run. Sama, yeah, he has a long of 77 this year, 6 touchdowns, 610 yards on 72 carries. For those of you that aren't too great at math, don't worry, I have the number right here for you. That is 8.5 yards per carry. Yeah, Abu Sama, to say the least, has really helped this team along with what he is able to bring there in that run game. And then you have a lot of pretty darn good wide receivers there as well. Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, the freshman tight end, and Benjamin Bramer, Daniel Jackson. All those guys have performed really well. Again, not a super explosive offense, though, but they do a lot of things really well. Only 11 turnovers on the season, only 12 sacks allowed on the season, and they're good enough on third downs to where if they need a third down conversion in a big moment, they have a lot of guys that can go get it for them. However, defensively, the offense does enough to help this defense control games and win games. That is what this defense has done really for the most part this season, and it has started in that defensive front. Same number of sacks that Memphis has this year in 21. However, this team is much more effective at being creative with their pass rush. They're also much more effective in being able to, well, do what the defensive front is supposed to do and stop the run. I believe, doing some quick math here, 37.9 yard per game difference between Memphis's defensive front and Iowa State's defensive front as well. And while the secondary may be susceptible to giving up the big play here and there, 16 of their 19 takeaways have been picks. They have 58 passes defended, including 12 of them going to Miles Purchase, 5 of them going to Bo Frailer. He's the leading tackler here. He is the X factor. He's going to need a big game if Iowa State's going to want to slow down the explosive offense of the Memphis Tigers. It leads me into my what to watch for. It's kind of like your keys to the game. Just some things I think you should keep an eye on while you're paying attention to this one. We are going to start with the Iowa State Cyclones for just a little bit because I do want to talk about that first bullet point that I see. With the running back room depleted, it's time for Rocco Becht to show off. Now, I understand that with me saying the running back room is depleted, it's me looking at Sanders and Norton and saying like, oh, this is a team that's not really going to have a run game at all. That's not really what I'm trying to say here. Abu Sama has found his rhythm. I think it may struggle to get going against some of the big bodies that Memphis has here, but if Abu Sama is ripping off big run after big run against this Memphis team that, again, at times struggles to slow down the run, it's going to be a long day there for the Memphis Tigers, especially defensively. But I think it is Rocco Becht that has to show off here. I do believe that Abu Sama is going to be able to hit his big runs here and there. But if Rocco Becht comes in and plays a big game, he doesn't have to outperform Seth Hennigan, nor do I think will he. However, if Rocco Becht can be efficient, can help his team drive down the field, especially if this Iowa State defense is not really standing up, hey, that's going to be a huge, huge thing for this Iowa State offense to be able to lean on. And the secondary, well, we'll talk about it here in just a little bit. Again, we're starting with the bottom team in the Iowa State Cyclones. This secondary is going to be well tested. Now, again, guys like Frailer and Purchase and Tampa and Cooper, who have lots of passes defended, lots of picks, they're going to need to step up here. They're going to need to force some picks. They're going to need to be able to contain the explosiveness of these Memphis wide receivers. If it's not a good day for the Iowa State secondary, it will not be a good day for the Iowa State defense, period. But my big question for Iowa State is, can they prevail on the money downs? Can third downs be crucial my apologies, can they win the third down battle? Because Memphis, really good third down offense, also a really good third down defense as well. If Iowa State can find something to help control third downs, it's only going to bode well for them. But let's talk really quickly now as you move back to the top of your screen for the Memphis Tigers. Again, the secondary is going to be well tested. However, for the most part, it holds up for the Iowa State Cyclones. So Hennigan and these wide receivers are going to have to be able to solve it. Again, this is an Iowa State Cyclone defense as a whole that has forced 19 turnovers, but again, I'll mention it again, 16 of them have been picks, and this is the defense that has 58 passes defended from their secondary as well. And speaking of defense, well, the Tiger defense is going to have to limit the few big plays that the Cyclones are able to manufacture, especially on the ground. Now, Rocco Becht can sling it. He can make the big play through the air as well. But it starts with limiting the big playability of Abu Sama on the ground. If you can limit him to under 5 yards per carry, make Rocco Becht have to win the game and convert on some crucial third down situations, that's only going to bode it well. But the big thing for Memphis' defense is get the Cyclones to turn it over. If you can get the Cyclones to turn this football over, it is going to be a really, really big thing here for this Memphis offense. And you know what? I think both these offenses are going to show out. I think Memphis and Seth Hennigan are going to be hitting some big plays. I think Abu Sama and Rocco Becht are going to be hitting some big plays here. But I think it's the potential of this Iowa State offense with Rocco Becht. I think he plays really, really well. With Abu Sama back there, I think he's going to rip off a couple of huge runs that are going to help solidify this game. And it also comes down to which defense I trust more. Offensively, I definitely trust Memphis more, but I think Iowa State, again, those few big plays that they're able to rip off, I think are going to mean the world, and I trust this Iowa State defense more to be able to slow down the explosiveness of Seth Hennigan. I think the secondary will step up, force Hennigan into a couple of picks, and Iowa State will win the Liberty Bowl. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and as always, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. See you guys tomorrow. Hey, it's New Year's 6 day. Yes, all 6 New Year's game videos are going to be out tomorrow. I said it. Looking forward to it. I'll see all you guys tomorrow with the New Year's 6 games. Goodbye.